Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Damola, and you probably, if you've been here for a while, just noticed that I changed my name from the Authentic Lee to my name. You know, we're just switching it up in 2019. I decided that I just wanted to have everything in one place and just, challenge myself to incorporate all of my passions on one platform. I'm really excited to be back talking about more makeup. I know I promised that I was gonna drop my behind the scenes video. It's coming, I promise. Probably after this. Anyways, this was meant to be a video about Glossier's Perfecting Skin Tint and Stretch Concealer shade expansion, which is amazing. I'm so glad that they decided to listen to people that were, literally had a lot to say about the fact that there's only 5 shades to represent, a vast variety of skin tones. And I also, when they had their surveys, if they had any surveys, I would tell them, hey, it'd be really nice if you actually expanded the shades to fit everyone, even though I know that skin tints, things that are more on the BB cream, like less coverage than foundations, people just expect a couple shades to cover everyone. It doesn't really work like that because everyone has different undertones, and regardless of the amount of coverage it has, you need to have something that is your right undertone so that it fits your skin. So I'm really happy to be presenting y'all with a face of both their Stretch Concealer and their Perfecting Skin Tint in the shade G3, which is described as a rich neutral shade, I believe. I'll put a little picture of what they have on their website. It's really awesome. They have like a whole shade finder, so that if you are curious about what your shade would be, you can just go on their website and it will just describe the undertones and like which shade would be best for you. And shout out to them for starting the darkest shade with G1. And they're not the first to do that. Beauty Bakery actually does this as well, where they have the darkest shade as their first shade, and then it goes down lighter till the lightest shade. And I think we need to start switching it up because I feel like I just normalized the idea that the darkest shade is always the last. And I just realized, wait, it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be, like that. So shout out to both Beauty Bakery and Glossier for kind of, setting the tone. Let's do more for us chocolate girls. Speaking of which, my skin is very dry right now. I need to put on, some products because my skin is just drying out. So, like I said, the skin tint is described as not really a tinted foundation or a BB cream or anything like that. It's literally just meant to blur the face, make everything one skin tone, very light coverage. Don't expect, you're not gonna get like full face with this. It's just, but luckily for a lot of people, some people like myself don't want necessarily full coverage. So I figured this would be a great chance to show y'all what it looks like on my skin tone, because a lot of y'all have been saying how much you appreciate the fact that I do show a lot of products on my skin tone. So starting off with prep, I'm going to be putting on some Rosehip Oil, which basically helps retain moisture. And I just slather that on. Now I'm following up with Glossier's Priming Moisturizer in Rich, which I've been using for a while. Thinking about switching up my moisturizer, but for now, this is amazing. I'm also using the Simple Protecting Light Moisturizer with SPF 15. Great, so that's all worked in, I believe. Gotta get the neck in there. Now we can jump in. So, like I said before, I have Glossier Skin Tint in G3 and their Stretch Concealer in G3 as well. It's meant to be more of a neutral undertone, which I'm more yellow, so I'm not sure. I kind of wish they had more of a yellow undertone, like golden, and I feel like everyone knows how like liquidy this Perfecting Skin Tint is, and you'll see it once it's on my face. They recommend using your fingers to apply, and I did that yesterday when I tried it. I kind of still like the idea of using like a sponge, beauty sponge, to blend it in, just because it took me a long time to use my fingers to get it to the consistency that I wanted it to. So we're gonna try it with the sponge, and I'll let you know which way I prefer. So you can see, literally liquid. So I'm just using the sponge to blend it out. So this is one layer of the Perfecting Skin Tint. And you can see it's not a drastic difference, but it does even out my skin tone. Since I am going out today, I'm going to put on another layer just for some little more coverage, because they did say it was buildable on their website. And I wonder, because I'm using the sponge, most of the product is actually probably in the sponge rather than on my skin. So that's probably why they recommend that you use your fingers, but I don't want to. I love my sponge because I love how dewy it makes my makeup. So I'm being stubborn. Second layer. Part of me feels like I might have to wear G2 during the summer when I get a little darker, even though it is a red undertone, but I'm hoping that since it is such a sheer coverage, I can get away with using G2 during summer. So this is the second layer of the Perfecting Skin Tint in G3. And I think it looks really good. I love that I feel like my skin can breathe, but at the same time it does, provide that even finish that I'm always looking for. But I'm not expecting it to cover like the mole that I have right here, or the fact that I have like just a couple, discoloration on my face, and like I have a mole here as well. It's not gonna cover that up. Like it never advertised that it would do that, so I don't expect that. So let's jump into the stretch concealer. And it comes in a little pot, which I don't really like. I'm more of a tube kind of girl, but now that I think about it, I believe this is glass. I'm not sure what it's, I think it is a glass pot. So maybe it is a little better for the environment to not use so many like plastic products. But at the same time, that means I have to either use another brush or my finger to apply it, which is a little annoying, but give and take, So I'm just gonna go ahead and put my finger and dab it in. I think with this, I might have to apply it with my fingers and then buff it out with my sponge. And this concealer is actually really good for getting rid of under eye circles. I don't know if you can see the difference between this eye and this eye. It's already brightening up, and I haven't even blended it out all the way. But I do appreciate that this one is at least a little more coverage. So if you do have dark circles like I do, this will hook you up. besides my under eyes, and then like my upper lip because she's a little dark too. And then I'm gonna put a little on my eyelid as well because I do have dark eyelids. I'm gonna use my beauty blender to help with that. So that it's a little more even. So my base is all good. I am extremely glowy. That's possibly because I've also used my Rosehip Oil beforehand, and then with the priming, moisturizer, and rich. So I used a lot of very moisture heavy products before I put this on, but at the same time I like dewy, mainly because I have dry skin. So normally I'm sure some people would set with a powder. I don't do powders. I cannot. I actually tried their Wowder before the shade expansion, because they did also expand Wowder in 5 shades, I believe. It used to be 3, and I had their deepest one. And I just felt super dry when I used it. It did mattify, but like that's not what I'm looking for. I'm okay with looking dewy because at the end of the day, I'm more likely to be dry than oily. So personal preference, but feel free to try it if you really like mattifying powders. I actually gave it to one of my friends and she's obsessed with it. She was like, she felt like pulled together. She wasn't, you know, didn't have any oil or anything dealing with that. So I mean, from her recommendation, I believe it's a good product for people with oily skin. So feel free to check that out. So I actually want to go into brows now, which I normally do beforehand, but I got distracted. So now I'm wearing my boy brow in the color brown. Should know that by now. By the way, I don't think I mentioned this earlier, but this is not a sponsored video. I do have an affiliate link with Glossier, so if you wanted to use my discount code to purchase some products, feel free, but nothing in this video is you know, altered by the fact that I do technically work with Glossier. I just happen to really enjoy this brand, and I know there's not a lot of like darker skinned women on YouTube talking about Glossier, or at least not showing their products as often as, you know, other people. So I'm just here to let y'all know what it's like, just in case you're curious about, you know, the products that they have, because I genuinely use their products all the time, and you can see that in all of my videos. So just wanted to let you know. Have a thick brow today, apparently. It's fine. So now that I've got brows done, I am going to move on to eyes. So my eyes are oily, which is weird. I don't know how that happened. So I am gonna prime them in preparation for the other products that I'm gonna be putting on my eyelids. And I think I'm actually going to use one of their lash licks. Oh no, that's the mascara. Lid Star. I'm gonna use Herb and Lid Star because I remember like a year or so ago, I actually tried out, was it Cub? When it first released, and I know a lot of people wanted me to try some of their other shades, and the only other shade I have right now is Herb, which is one of my favorites because it's like this greenish gold and it looks great on my skin. So I'm gonna use that for today's look as well. It's starting to be a full face of Glossier now that I think about it, and I'll try to use as many of their products just so that y'all can see it all together. I like to blend the color out with this like really small brush instead of using my fingers, because I have a little more control over where it goes this way. I might do another coat, but for now let's just go on to my other eye. So this is what one coat looks like. And I'm gonna go in with one more. So I think I wanna take my blender and kind of clean up a little bit. Great. feeling a little green on the bottom, so I'm gonna use a different eyeshadow to kind of bring the look together. I'm using my old but trusty NYX palette, and I'm using that deep green right over here. Now this green is like a true green rather than like the gold green that's on the lid, so it'll create a little bit of dimension. Great. So one thing I'm noticing about my like base is that I wish it was just, the concealer was just a little more high coverage, because I can definitely see my dark circles popping up, and when I'm doing like really bold looks, I prefer to have it, you know, I like for the base to be super even so that no one's like looking at my eye bags and not the look, you know? So I don't know if I would use this concealer for like a more intense look like this one. I think the concealer is good for every day where I don't have anything on my eyelids. So that's just something to keep in mind. I think I might add a little more concealer just to zhuzh it up a little bit. Also, what could have happened is when I used my beauty blender, it might have wiped away the concealer, because I don't think it looked like this prior to me doing that. So it's good to know. I can't really use beauty blenders with this. And it's kind of good that I'm doing this now anyways, to clean up any mistakes I might have had. So now I'm going in with mascara, and I'm actually not going to be using Glossier's Lash Slick, even though I do have it. It's just I ran out of it. Plus, I feel like this look needs a bolder mascara anyway, so I'm using their Kush mascara. This is hands down my favorite mascara. I've never, ever seen my lashes this volumized and elongated. Now we're going in with blush, which is also going to be a Glossier blush, one of their cloud paints. I'm feeling Storm today. This is a lot. But I'm gonna blend it, don't worry. So one thing I noticed about applying cloud paint on top of skin tint and the concealer is that it blends so much better than it does on my like regular BB cream and stuff that I use, and I wonder if it's because it's just lighter so that the blush doesn't sit on it, it actually like goes into my skin more. So I actually really like that a lot, just like the application. But that in itself just makes me more cautious about the fact that I can't put so much blush on, because you will see it. It will not blend into your foundation. It's there. So this is like more than I would normally use, but I'm just gonna blend it everywhere. This is Haloscope. I have the color Topaz, and I like it because it's a nice golden bronze color. So it really works with my skin tone. But y'all, I have nothing left. I got this 2 years ago. More like I was gifted it. Nagel gave it to me. Back when I was in college, and I still have it, and I graduated almost 2 years ago. So I'm okay with the fact that it ran out, because it just meant that it lasted forever. So I'm gonna put the little that I have right on the high points of my cheeks. See if I can get my nose in there. I like to get my chin and then my Cupid's bow, that I really don't have one, but it's fine. Then I'm gonna use my finger to blend it out. Usually it's a little more in your face, but like I said, I'm running out, so I'm gonna use what I got. Now I'm gonna set with my Pure Hydrating setting spray. A while ago, I used Glossier's Balm.com and Birthday Cake to moisturize my lips, so she's all ready to go. All right, this is the look. Green, purple, blush galore. This is it. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. If you did, please like, share, share with people that are interested in trying out these products or just like want to watch videos on YouTube, I guess. I don't know. I really hope that if you haven't already, that you subscribe and join the fam. I appreciate all the love that I get when it comes to these kind of looks, knowing that I am not a makeup artist. I don't know what I'm doing 90% of the time. Be sure to check out my other videos and let me know what you want to see next. I promise that behind the scenes is coming soon, okay? Just bear with me. And cheers.